Attention sports enthusiasts and loyal Ateneo fans. The peak of excitement may have settled after the UAAP season, but your support for Team Ateneo should never waver. Show your unwavering spirit by proudly donning your favorite Get Blued merchandise. We have amazing news for you. You can now find the most extensive selection of authentic Ateneo gear at both Shopee Mall and Laz Mall. Gear up and embrace the blue and white pride with Get Blued's top-notch apparel. And remember, always buy original. Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Navs Effect podcast. Happy to be back here giving you guys another episode, and today I am joined by two of the play-by-play guys I worked with in my Pinoy Liga commentating coverage. Nico Rocha, a friend of the podcast, someone you all know very well if you've listened to our previous episodes, and of course Diego De La Paz also joining us today. We are here to discuss some college basketball off-season reactions and also maybe to dive a little bit into the NBA free agency period. It's only been 2 days, but it feels like so much has happened. Left, right, here, trade request here, this person signs here, this and that. So a lot going on, a lot to get to. Really excited to do it. Of course, Diego, some of you might know him as the Mr. Bing Bang Boom in our Pinoy Liga coverages tagline that he is, I believe, marketing or branding or something like that. But everybody, welcome, and thanks to all the viewers watching. Thank you, of course, to our sponsors of the podcast, Get Blued, Green Blooded, DexWin, the cleaning coach. Now, we're here to talk about college basketball offseason reactions. So, three main tournaments that I can think of right now, of course, the Pinoy Liga Collegiate Cup, which we had the pleasure of covering. Ateneo goes undefeated on their way to the championship. And then, of course, the Phil Oil preseason tournament, where Nico also works as a play-by-play guy, with UP reigning after defeating LaSalle in the finals. And then in the PBA D-League, the DLSU Eco Oil Green Archers beat San Beda Marinero in the finals to win an off-season championship for the second straight season. So I think we can start there, right? It's so fitting that we have DLSU winning D-League, UP winning Phil Oil, then Ateneo prevailing in Pinoy Liga. So you've got really the three contenders that everyone is talking about prevailing in their off-season tournaments, going to the UAP season with a lot of momentum. Now, of course, DLSU is scheduled for an off-season trip in Japan. The UP guys have already left for Serbia. The Ateneo standouts have already left for Australia. And I think NU is right there with them. NU made it to the semis of Phil Oil. They made it to the finals of Pinoy Liga. They defeated the UP Maroons in a double overtime thriller, which was just a classic in Pinoy Liga. So I think, guys, is it safe to say, can start with you, Nico. We can maybe, is it safe to say that UP, Ateneo, LaSalle, NU are the four immediate standouts when you think about who can contend for a UAP championship in season 86? And also, is there a gap between those teams, or are they in even footing? Because a few weeks ago, I had LaSalle as the highest from all of them, given how dominant LaSalle looked in Phil Oil. And then
They
UP
lost, diba?
and then UP beats LaSalle, and then UP drops to NU, and a UP team, by the way, that had Lebron Lopez and JD Kagulangan playing that game, Malik Diafasol, they dropped to NU without Baclaan and Enriquez. And then you have Ateneo dominating their way to a Pinoy Liga Cup championship. So is there a disparity between those four contenders right now?
I think, first of all, yung UP, LaSalle, and Ateneo, UP slight edge, very, very slight edge over LaSalle. LaSalle has also a, actually magkakadikit yung tatlong yun, in my opinion. UP, Ateneo, LaSalle, it can go either way. Our opinions can change if they still had more tournaments, di ba? Pero ganun sila kalapit. The opinion can change, can sway, depending on how they're performing against one another or against the other schools. While for NU, they put themselves in the conversation after that showing. At least sa Pinoy Liga, kitang-kita natin how Coach Jeff Napa was able to elevate his players, considering that there's no Kian Bakla, no Omar John, no Steve Nash. So yung advantage talaga ng NU is how their coach and also the coaching staff manages to just increase how much they can milk out of the talent of their players. May it be Don Lim, it doesn't matter if it's Don Lim, Kian Baklan or not. I'm gonna put my team in the best position, whoever's on the bench right now or on the court. So yun yung ano ko ngayon. Verdict with those four. Magkakadikit talaga. Feel ko yun yung Final Four eh. this early.
Yeah, when I think about NU as well, when it was announced that, or when I announced rather, that John Lloyd Clemente wasn't coming back for his final season, I'm there thinking, okay, this can be a little risky or a little bit of a problem because John Lloyd led them in scoring last season. But then now you look at that wing, si Malonzo, we were talking about him while we were calling that finals game. He is a game
Yeah.
changer when he's on the court. He can provide game changing contributions without necessarily scoring all the time. And then you have Paul Francisco, who's a sniper from deep. And then you also have, like you mentioned, Don Lim coming in, a big guard who can handle, can shoot, can play make for others. And of course, the Bakla and Enriquez combo. And then Reinhard Uamoy. I mean, this
Si
kid,
Reinhard, nakalimutan pa si Reinhard pag-usapan. Yeah,
yeah, Reinhard is
isa pa yun.
going to be a Rookie of the Year candidate, 1000%. And he has guts. He was the one who hit the game winner against UP, diba, in the semis.
So harap-harapan pa ni JD, no? Sabi ko, my goodness,
Ex-
and JD was there.
exactly.
It's
That's
not
the
like JD went under the screen. He was there
Yes,
to
the kid is
contest.
good. And even after wala na si Omar John and NU, their next foreign student athlete, Mohamed Yasana, is really, really good. And we got to watch him close up during the Pinoy Liga playoffs. So I like NU a lot, even without Clemente. I feel they're deep. Now, obviously, LaSalle, UP, Ateneo, it goes without saying why these teams are good. We can talk about coaching, we can talk about recruitment, talent. Now, the reason why I think those three plus NU right now are above everyone else is because I think in terms of consistency and parang sila yung pinakamaayos eh. I'll say it simple like right now. Now, Adamson, we know they're going to be good. They made the Final Four last year. But we haven't seen them yet with Jerome much this offseason. And then UST naman, well, we haven't seen them at all, right? They've kept everything under wraps. And then now we've heard recently that they've lost some of their new recruits, like si Lane, who might not be able to make it because of academics. Gerard Wilson, who went to UE. UE naman, they've also been through some changes. Like now, Kyle Paranada's not there anymore. Remagat will have to take the point guard duties. And then you got all this new foreign recruits coming in. How long will they adjust to the team? Will it click like last season's team did right away, or will it take some time? FEU, I don't know. They have talent, they have a veteran presence in the team, but may parang kulang based on what we saw in the off-season. I think the guys will have to step up more. Now, when I think
Yep.
about Ateneo, UP, LaSalle, and U, it feels like consistency-wise, they're just a
Mm.
little higher than everyone else right now. Diego, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, again, I'd like to second all of you on putting UP, DLSU, and Ateneo on top of everyone else because man, those three programs
Wait,
really
sorry. For the record, I think I have NU leveled
uh,
with those teams right now.
with NU as
I
well. Yeah,
I have to
actually, yeah.
show NU that respect. Yeah.
Yes, you got to show NU that respect, especially that they made it all the way to the Pinoy Liga Cup finals. They really took that tournament seriously. The way that they were able to rotate their players, whatever whoever was on the floor, they contributed. So a lot of surprise. And at the same time, expectations from NU there. Coach Jeff Napa is already a good coach on not only from the high school level but also on the college level. Wherever he went, NU, Letran as well before. He knows how to coach his players well and knows how to bring out the best in them. So I'm not surprised that NU is already knocking at the door of the elite, or in fact, they are elite. And going back to the other teams, UST, well, I see them as one of the wild cards together with UE, especially with so many losses for UE and UST, really keeping those cards close to the chest. But having talked to someone inside UST, I know that they're brewing something inside there. I know for sure. And FEU, actually, one thing I have to say about FEU is that they're still learning Coach Denok Miranda's system on the fly, and a lot of the players are young. They're coming off high school, especially the likes of Jan Ray Pasaol. They're not exactly prime level just yet, but they are going to be competitive. It's going to be 50-50 balls everywhere for FEU this coming season. And for Adamson, the way that Coach Nash Trasella has been developing his players, it's really top of the class so far in the UAAP, but we have yet to see the Nash Rosella system bear fruit. And of course, Adamson fans will have to be patient to see the system of Coach Nash Rosella to bear fruit.
All these teams
Mm.
now, we have had instances before in the past where the off season tells us one thing, and then
Mm.
when it comes to the UAP season, it's just so different
Yeah.
because there's so many factors you can't control too.
Mm.
Injuries are one, internal conflicts is another
Mm.
one. Like for example, what comes to my mind when I think about those aspects are the LaSalle teams in the last few years, not just last
Yeah.
season, dating back really to the 2010s. You hear so much about how LaSalle's gathering up all this talent, gathering up all these players, make a run
Mm.
for a championship. When we get to the UAP season, it's like, okay, losses
Yeah.
here, late game situations here, problem to coach, this and that, this and that. And now it feels like there's some steadiness there. And Ateneo is just a picture of consistency. UP
Mm.
is pretty much the same at this point just because they're so loaded.
Mm.
So I'm thinking if one of those four teams I mentioned, including with NU, right? If
Mm.
one of them would drop to one of the teams in the second tier that we're talking about,
Mm.
which team is most likely to overcome that and which team is most likely to lose their spot? Right? Nico, you have any thoughts about that question?
Hirap naman yan. Well, I'm riding with my boy Nick Cabanero in the USD Growling Tigers. Sila yung papalit. Pero sino? NU? NU na siguro, yun na yun. Kasi parang napaka-establish na kasi ng UP, LaSalle, and Ateneo for me eh. Or
Mm-mm.
actually, Ateneo. Ateneo is just one losing streak away from not making the final. Remember what happened in Philo? Granted, yung time na yun kasi, they came from the finals, like finals week ng college. They haven't practiced at all, and then you just threw them into the fire against
Yeah.
UP, LaSalle, agad-agad, and then that's why they got.
I think also one question to keep up with
Which
Ateneo,
I'm sure.
just moving into the UAP tournament, there might be a player or two there that I'm not sure yet if will be eligible, but it's actually
Yeah.
important for
Pero
the
about,
team.
oo.
Yeah, I don't want to get much into detail about it, but there's still a lot of time. However, that's something to just monitor and keep track of entering the
That's
UAP
one.
season.
That's one. So I feel like either NU or Ateneo could be if I'm forced to remove one, tapos palit. Yun na yun for me. Yun na yun. Yeah, so talking about UST, I don't know, I kind of like how another year of Nick Cabanero, tapos Coach Pido,
Mm-mm.
Harencio. Again, we don't know anything about UST. I think that's yun talaga yung MO nila this summer. You don't know anything about us, but we're watching all of you guys who are performing in the tournament. So maybe it could be a positive for them. And sila lang yung most, for me, yung kaya makapasok sa Final Four. Sa UE, I think, it's just the Ray Remogat show. We haven't seen much of the Dumont Cruz brothers. And then Adamson is just Jerome and Lenda, Duwanga.
Well, I think Vince Magbuhos will have a good
Vince
future.
Magbuhos and Cedric
Yeah.
Manzano, but not enough to enter the four. But I could be wrong. It's only July. We're doing this in July. Kasi I'm sure we're gonna have another podcast. Or we're gonna have another episode to revisit, maybe a week or two before the UAP when everything is set, nakaset na yung roster. But for me, that's how I'm viewing it right now. It's really mahirap talaga.
Yeah. Yung sa UST, of course, we're going to see the return of yung hairstyles ng Tigers under Coach Pedro
Oh,
Harencio.
kalbo na lahat sila ngayon eh.
Yeah, exactly. And well, let's just say that the culture there is going to change. And it's going to feel familiar for some UST fans who noticed Coach Pedro and how he ran things back in the day. But in terms of winning on the court, I think they'll be competitive. I'm just wondering if the talent they have will be enough to win. Like, let's say, kasi you need like 7 wins at least to compete for a Final Four spot, right? You need to get to at least 7 wins. If makakapasok ka ng 6-8, that's usually a season where the top 2 or top 3 teams are just a cut above everyone else. And then may papasok there. But now I think you have 4 legit teams who can beat each other in terms of being contenders. So will that kind of like randomness enable like a team like UST or Adams to get in that Final Four right away? We'll see. But definitely they have the talent also to make it hard for some of the other teams that we're talking about.